Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. I'm going to show you how to make the top image up here very quickly. It's very similar to what I did with the Cinderella one. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to do this as a sublimation on a mug and also to do this with heat transfer paper on a bag. Okay, so follow me. Okay, so a lot of the times I like to get images from disneyclips.com. I'm just going to go ahead and go through here and click on a few that I think are cute. And you can see that white junk around there, but that's okay. I'm just going to say save image as. So what I usually do is just go around and save a bunch of images and then look through them later to see if there's any that I like that I think I could use. So I just let it save it at whatever name it does, and I've made a Sleeping Beauty folder for these. So they're all being saved at the same place. Let's see. Okay, so I probably need to find Prince Charming now. So I'm going to go back, and here's Aurora. Oh, Prince Philip, I mean. Prince Philip. Let's see what we got here. Look at the horse's face. Okay, I probably have enough for now. Okay, the next thing I did was I just brought in, whoops, the image that I already had. You group that all together first. And I checked to see what size it is. So I believe I made it 8.25 originally by 3.5. So I'm going to make another rectangle that size. So just come over here to the left and draw out a rectangle. Doesn't matter what size because I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make it 8.25 inch. Uh-oh, didn't get that right. 8.25 and hit enter. There. All right, so that's the size I want to make it so that it will fit on my mug perfectly. I'm going to make it larger than that though when I put it on the bag. So this is what I'm going for right here. And remember all those images that I had that I brought in? Well, all I needed to do was go to File, Merge, and then I would merge them individually. So I could bring in, and you didn't see me bring in the witch, whatever her name is. Melissa, how do you say it? So there she is. I just merged her in, and I merged in all the other things that I used. And actually, let's get rid of this thing. Before I started, I actually merged in everything, and then I just started culling things or getting rid of things that I didn't think I wanted or needed. So I'll put everything over here that I started with. Maybe I don't have it all anymore though, because let's check this out. Let me see if I bring this a little closer. So I'm missing some of them because I did put them into this image. So let me just merge in what I'm missing and get rid of what I'm not using. So I didn't use this, or this, or this, or this, or that, or that. Or I decided I like this one better because it had more color for here. Or that. Didn't use that. So I'm going to bring in the ones that I did use. So I'm going to go File, Merge, and I know I used this guy. Open him. There he is. And I know I used File, Merge. Let's see. This. Okay. And File, Merge. What else did I use? Not that, not that. Yeah, that, but I've already gotten it. The Disneyland, the background. Okay, so I'm ready to go. So all I have to do is, most of these were transparent images or PNGs that came in perfectly, other than this one that I'm going to go ahead and trace right now. Trace tool, select the trace area, trace a box around it. If I'm going a little fast through this part, it's just because this is just a refresher. Hopefully you saw this in yesterday's tutorial or many of my other ones. So I have that trace, so I can get rid of that box. And let's see, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to stretch this out so it will fit. I might want to make it a little like that so it's not quite so weird shaped. And grab both of these and center them. And then I'm going to come over here to modify and crop. So that's cropped exactly the way I need it to be. The next thing I'm going to do is let's scroll and let's bring these guys over so it's easier for us to see what we're working with. This, as I'm going to go through this part fast, so let's scroll way in. And I'm going to put these guys up here first, I guess. So I'll just click on them and resize them by pushing this in and bring them up here. Okay, I'm going to right click on the background and say send it to the back, so that every time I bring something up there, I don't have to mess with each one individually. So I'll put them right about there. This little guy, notice him right here. I right clicked on him and said flip horizontally because I wanted him to be looking towards them. Okay, and these, okay, he goes right up here in this corner and I can size him whatever size I like. She goes up here, but I didn't want to put all of her in there. So what I did to get rid of some of her, and she's actually a little large right there, make her smaller, about like that. So what I actually did with her was I just came over and got the knife tool and just came here and held down my shift key and drew a line straight across, which cut her right off. So let's see. Let's scroll in so we can see better. And we can move this. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Scroll back out for just a sec so I can grab some other pieces that I need. I need the fairies. And I'll need... Let me scroll out. All right, I'll need the fairies. And I think that's just basically all I need, these two things. So I can go ahead and put this on here now, just make it a lot smaller. And I just made it fit over here in this corner nicely, like that. Just overlapping a little bit to add a little bit of interest. And then for the fairies, I couldn't figure out how to put them on here a way I liked. So what I did do was I ungrouped them, or I traced them so I could have each one individually. So I selected the trace area, I upped the threshold, and I said trace and detach. Okay, so I can take this one, bring her over here and group her. This one, group her. Whoops, I got them too, both of them, and I didn't mean to. I'm going to have to ungroup. Ungroup. All right, so let's see. And if I scrolled in, I could see more clearly, and so could you. I just need to group her because she's already been traced. There we go. Now I can bring her away and group. And then I can get the last one here. And actually, if I want to, what I could do is some of these stars probably wouldn't be a bad idea if I didn't put them up in the front of her. So I'll bring them up here, a few of them. And then I'll just say group. Get rid of this junk. I don't really need all this junk back here. Delete. And I see more. Delete. 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 Okay, so I can bring her right back up here now and group. All right, I see some more junk over here to delete. Sometimes I just like to go around and look for these little pieces that are really hard to spy. Like there's some more. Delete. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back out. And we got all three of these little gals now. So I'll put them over here. And then I'll scroll way in so we can see how we might like to place them. Get an idea from this one. So I put the green girl. I don't remember their names. And by the way, I got rid of this little piece right here because I thought it was distracting. So the way I got rid of this little piece right here, see that little blue part of that flag? It bothered me. So I said trace by color, and I traced it. And I did a tolerance up. And I traced it. And then I offset that trace a little bit. Select it first and then offset it. And that's way too much, so I can make it smaller. Okay, then all I did next was I got the color with the eyedropper that's behind here. Oh, you scared me. And then I moved the red lines out like that. And again, these red lines have got to go too. Make the line color blank. Oopsie. Oh, undo. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Make that line color blank as well. Okay, perfect. So now I can scroll back out, and now I can bring these little fairies over. So let's see, where did I have them? I had her. Oh, I put an offset around her and I didn't mean to. Must have been what I had selected before. So I'm going to bring her up here, and her, and her, and her. And I'll just try to get an idea of where I put them here. So it looks like I just twirled her around with this green button like that. And I brought this one over here. And this one down here. And I believe I made them larger too so they'd stand out some more. So I think I will make them each a little bit larger. About. Okay, that's how easy it was to create this. And now, oh, I got to bring her to the front because notice that little piece is there. So I'm going to right click and bring her to the front. Now she'll cover that spot up. Okay. All right. So I'm pretty thrilled with that. I think it's really cute. I think it's going to look super duper on a shirt and on a mug. I just want to make her a little bit more tilty, I think. Oopsie, I didn't mean to move that. I meant to make her a little more tilty. Okay, so then I can just group all of this together. Okay, so as I said, one of these I'm going to make into a mug, but I might as well do two since I can do two easily on the mug paper. So let's scroll out. So these are going to be my mug ones, and I don't need to worry about putting on registration marks, as all I'm doing is printing from here. I'm not doing anything fancy. I do need to remember though, since this is heat transfer sublimation, I better remember to right click and flip horizontally so they're mirrored. Okay, both of them are mirrored, and then I've got to make sure I move it back over where it was supposed to be so it's in line. Okay, like that and like that. Okay, so there's those two. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this one. And I'm going to paste it right over here. And this time I'm going to make it large enough for my bag. Now for my, and actually the largest I can make it is 8.5 by 11. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to make it instead of 11, I'm going to make its width 10.5. And I might as well lock the lock before I change that. 10.5. And that's how big it is going to be for the bag that I'm making. Okay? Let's see, 10.5. I could maybe go a little bit larger, but that'll probably be fine. All right, so move this over. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to print these for the mugs. So I'll go to File. Let me look at something over here though. Since this one is not going to be, well, for this one, I'll show you, you do not mirror this. When you're using the dark transfer paper that's printable, you do not mirror it. So I've got to remember and flip this horizontally and get it back to the way it belongs before I forget. Okay, so let's do this one first. I'll go up here to Print, File, Print. The last printer I used was my my other one, my HP 5000. That's what I use for print and cut on paper, and I'm going to use that for my next project I'm going to show you in a few minutes. For the sublimation, I'll use the Epson Workforce 7720. I'm going to check out my preferences and make sure they're on sublimation, because that's going to make it exactly the way I want it to be. And the way I want it to be is plain paper. The quality, I go to more settings and I push that as high as I can. And the other thing that I change is right here, because I'm using Cosmos ink, we are taught to, let's see, where is it? Right here where it says color correction. For Cosmos ink in this machine, the directions say to go to advanced options and make it ICM. Cosmos ink, and that's what I have linked down below in my description. All right, let's see. So this is okay. So I'm going to say print, and hopefully have a piece in there. And while that's printing, I can also get my other machine ready. Okay, the first thing I wanted to show you was this is one that's already been done. You can see how vibrant, hopefully, the lighting's not that great over here, but how vibrant it is. But this is the way when you print it out, it looks when you print it, and you might be tempted to think, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But it'll work just fine. So, as in my other tutorials, you just take the mug, wrap this around it, try to make this even. I mostly like to make sure that the bottom and the top lip are pretty even, like all the way around. Once you have that ready, you just get the tape. You cannot use masking tape. You cannot use painter's tape. It has to be this special tape that can withstand all of this heat. So you taped it in two places there. Turn this over, make sure that it looks pretty even. And try to make sure that it's nice and taut. Got a lump right there. I don't know if that'll make a problem. Better cut that off. Another. Okay, I'm gonna cut this little lumpy thing off. I'll just get a new piece. I'm really gonna invest in one of those holders, tape holders, because this is really a pain to cut it like this. I think the tape holder is around $15, but I think it'd be well worth it to save me from this aggravation that I have. Okay. All right, so I have my heat press now set at 385 degrees for 190 seconds. So I just take my mug, stick it in here, try to make sure that it's in there evenly. Looks pretty good. And then just close this up and start my timer. And I'll be back when that's done. Okay, the timer's just about done. Time to open this and take this mug out and take this off, and let's see what we have. This is my favorite part. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at this. So I can hold it by the handle. The handle won't kill me, but if I try to hold it by the mug, I'm gonna burn myself horribly. But look how nice that turned out. Is it blurry? Hopefully you can see it well. It's not blurry at all with the real eyes. It's really cute. Very pleased with it. So that's sublimation, and now I'm going to bring you over here because, or let me just bring it here. I printed off this page. Okay, I'll link my printer down below because everybody always wants to know what printer I use. This is a new one for me because the one I was using I changed into my sublimation printer. But this one prints out really nicely, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do with this is I have this bag here. On one side I did my Cinderella, which I guess can't really see it very well, but I'm going to put this one on the opposite side. Here's Cinderella. And so on the opposite side of this same bag, I'm going to put this. So hang on. Okay, for this next project, I'm using Nina 3G Jet Opaque Dark Paper, Dark Transfers. And I'll have that link for you down below also, so you don't have to try to memorize these things. And, you know, if you want to use my links, that's great. Here's the bag again, as I said. I learned something about this bag when I did this side of the bag, and that is I need to put something in between the two layers of the bag, otherwise they might heat together and actually melt together. Luckily I was able to get this bag apart. But so now I'm going to put something in between. I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper inside of the bag to keep that from happening. Okay, I've got my bag, or my heat press, heating up according to the directions now. My heat press, I've got to reset it because for this, it only needs to be 350 degrees. It needed to be 385 for the sublimation, 350 for this process. Okay, and I only need to do it for 30 seconds. So let's troll this away and bring this out some. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I'm really hopeful that, I think I'll put another piece of paper in here as well. No, you know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna put one of those pads that I buy from Heat Press Nation in here. I love these pads for t-shirts and everything, but I'm going to use this one inside to try to keep the Cinderella side of the bag from getting too hot when I'm doing this as well. So I'll put this inside of the bag too. You really can't see what I'm doing, but I've got that inside the bag now and the piece of parchment paper. Okay, let's turn that around. So now I'm going to go on this side. And I like to make this so that all of the straps and the edges are off the platen. Okay, and make this nice and smooth. Try to make it even. Okay, and then push this in. And I'm going to heat this for a few seconds. Okay, since I've added that pad, I really need to loosen this up. And check the pressure again. Still a little high for me, for my liking. So all I'm doing is twisting this knob. You probably can't see it in the back. Okay, that feels good. Did I leave that on there long enough? Okay, that should be heated up now. So let's see, I'm waiting for my temperature to get up to 350. And while I'm waiting for that, I can go ahead and put my image down. Oh, but I can't put my image down yet. This is the hardest part, I think, you guys. Trying to get this dumb thing apart. I hate it. If anybody knows the secret to doing this, well, let me know, because to me, it's so difficult to get these two layers apart. And I forgot one thing before I do that. This is really important. I need to cut this image off so none of that white shows. So again, I'll just come over here, my messy part of the table, and just really quickly go over this with a rotary cutter. I like using a rotary cutter for this. Let's see if I can bring you over so you can see. Ignore my messy table. Okay. So I'm just using this rotary cutter and cutting this so none of the white shows, because that white would show up on the bag, and I certainly don't want that. And my press is just about heated up now. Got all four of these edges cut off. Okay. So now is when I take it over here to my press. Got this on a really wiggly tripod. Okay. So I'm going to try to figure out, where do I want this on this bag? And again, I'm making sure it's straight. Oh, but I forgot to take the stupid paper off the back. I should have done that before I cut the white pieces off, because now I might mess up some of it. So that's a word of advice. Before you start trying to peel this apart, take the white, use it when you still have the white background on there. Ooh, I got lucky that time. I got it. Doesn't happen very often. So then we're left with this like plasticky thing. That's why I have a hard time calling this stuff paper, because to me it feels more like vinyl than it does paper. So once that's on there, then I need to cover this with some parchment paper. I got my parchment paper from the Dollar Tree. You can use it again and again and again. I just put my other piece inside, remember? So I'll just place this on top. And I actually, when I did the other side, in addition to the parchment paper, I put a piece of large copy paper on there as well. Like this. All right, so now just push it in. And we should be ready to go. It's at 350 now. I'm gonna put this down and go for 30 seconds. Okay, time is up. Open this, slide this around, pull this out, and just pull this off. Put it over here for reuse. And that is done. Look how beautifully that turned out. Okay, so on this side, I have this, and on the opposite side, I have Cinderella. Cute little bag. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. I hope you liked this demonstration of doing both sublimation and heat transfer using printable paper, which seems vinyl-y to me. But again, I'll have the links to all of the products that I use down below in case you're curious or in case you feel like making a purchase and using my links. I sure appreciate it. It just helps to keep Patty Ann's Place running. So thanks again. I hope you're having fun doing these processes yourself, and I'd love to have you join our Facebook groups. The links are down below as well. So see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.